Welcome to a new episode of the Bobby Experience, first episode of 2026. I'm here to see Return to Silent Hill. The movie's been out for a couple of days. Finally get a chance to check it out. 9:15 show. Yep, a lot of available seats. And I got myself this Silent Hill postcard that's been advertised. Actual postcard. I don't know if I want to mail this to somebody. I think I just want to keep it, but it is a postcard, though. Oh well. All right, for those of you who might not know, this Silent Hill movie, Return to Silent Hill, is based on the game Silent Hill 2, about James getting a letter from his deceased wife to come back to their special place in Silent Hill. That's as much as I'll share. All right, I'm going in. And you'll see me after I get out. All right, so I got back from seeing the movie. It's actually the next day now, the morning. And I made sure I left the theater with more of these Silent Hill postcards. So I have plenty of these I can mail out and write a message on the back of whoever would want these. I think they're pretty neat. All right, so as for the movie, I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be. I definitely don't think it was dog crap or other ways people described it. But it wasn't that great either. And I think the game had a better story. The original story from the game was a lot more developed. But then again, that's how it is with games that are made that have a plot, because we're living vicariously through the character, and we're having a lot of details with hours of gameplay. And there's only so much you could fit into a movie that's going to be an hour, 45 minutes long, approximately. So that's one of the things I want to talk about, how the movie adaptation is different, is that so with the supporting characters, Eddie and Angela, so as everyone knows who's played the game, Eddie was someone who was he was a bullied, physically and verbally abused, with one particular bully being like some football player that he shot in the leg and whose dog he killed. In this movie adaptation, we don't know anything about Eddie. There is some throwbacks in the film that were, from the game, where James finds him vomiting, so that they have that in there. But Eddie has not shot or killed anyone, and there's no dog, not a dog, but no dead body near him, for him to say that, to deny ever like killing anyone, and saying that was like that when I found him. There's no backstory to him. We don't know the reason as to why he's in Silent Hill. What we do is have a very simple reason why he's there, where there's a part where James asks him, well, what are you, not paraphrasing, like, what are you doing here if this, with this town being the way it is? And his answer was that to have it all for himself, the way it's pretty much abandoned. But knowing the way Silent Hill is, I don't know why anyone would want to even stay there. But I guess in this version of Eddie, perhaps he has a bit of a twisted mind, where he'd still find comfort in being in Silent Hill, as terrible as it is. But we don't know anything about Eddie in this film. And if you didn't play the game, you would definitely look at this character and think that by the end of the movie, you still don't even know who he was. And with Angela, the first character that James meets in Silent Hill, I get the impression that, well, they do give hints that she was abused later in the film, but in the beginning, we don't we don't see that. She doesn't come across as timid and afraid, uh, and she also doesn't mention like why she's there. She's looking for her mom. She doesn't say that, and my impression of her is that she's someone that was just knowledgeable of the town and that she could be a guide to James, but and that's not who she was in the game. She was just there for her reasons of looking for her mom, and she just feels drawn to the town. That wasn't her. So then there was like this. Uh, there's that difference, and later in the game, she shows the signs of distrust where she holds the knife in front of James, and there's that throwback where he James later sees her on the floor holding that knife, uh, and we do get a little bit of a hint that she was abused uh, from this one particular scene, but it's it's almost just hint. Seems like it's just a hint, and they changed things up with Laura's character. It How should I describe it? It's almost like she herself was some supernatural character. And another thing different about her is that she was able to see the monsters. And in the game, the monsters are just for the most part non-existent. But she knew when Pyramid Head was coming, uh, when we were going to see Pyramid Head for the first time in the film. And I know I'm going like in different, talking about like a lot of different things right now, popping over to Pyramid Head. But what I'll say about Pyramid Head is that we don't get to see a whole lot of him. Uh, but that's okay. He's been, I think, overused by the franchise now, where he's been a bit of a mascot. So I think the amount of screen time he had was, I think it was all right for this film. Um, but going back to Laura, it made me think that she was just some kind of like supernatural being herself. That's how I felt. And as far as I know, like the with this film's interpretation, she may not have been real. Um, oh yeah, with the Maria character, I'd say with her, I think she seemed a little bit less flirtatious, but she did have that same desire to want to, I think, connect with James and try to leave the town with him. So I did see those similarities. Right, so I guess that those are my thoughts on the top of my head. Well, I think there's actually more I'd like to share too. Is that, well, definitely with more I want to share. So with James' motivation to come to the town of Silent Hill. So another spoiler I'd like to share is that what's different with this film is that with Mary is that her involvement with the Silent Hill cult. Her father seemed to be like one of the founders of the cult, and she ended up getting abused and even poisoned. Where the reason that she's sick is because of what the cult's abuse of like poisoning her for so long. But in the game, she had no involvement with the cult that's in Silent Hill. But for this film, that they gave Mary that backstory. And one other key difference is, right, spoiler for both the the game and the movies that James does kill her, but it plays out differently where um, Mary actually asked for James to end her life. So it was like a what do you call like a mercy killing. So the way I view it is that James wasn't drawn to the town because of guilt, but it's really entirely about James' love for Mary and to the chance to be able to see her and see her again, right? And but that's what made the Silent Hill 2, I think, and I think a lot of fans think too, is that the why he goes to Silent Hill. It's how he tries to brush his guilt under the rug, suppress it. The fact that his reason for killing Mary is because uh, feelings that like he hated her for how she became abusive, verbally abusive, and how her body was deteriorating, and he no longer wanted her in his life anymore. He wanted to move on, and that's where his guilt comes from. But in this film, he just loved her throughout, and his reasons for killing her was, it seems like just like out of mercy. And we get somewhat of the equivalent of the In Water ending, and he gets like that the whole time. We get the whole time loop thing going. Um, so in the end, I just felt that this movie was okay. I think the ending was satisfying. Um, but and throughout the whole film, I thought, am I going to dislike this movie? Is this going to be trash? Like lot of people are saying, like even the fan base may be saying. And as I was watching, I was thinking, yeah, this could be better, but it's not that bad. And by the end, I thought, I think the way this ending worked, I think it worked out all right. Um, so if I could be generous, out of 5 stars, probably just 2.5. I would give it 2.5 stars. All right, what are your thoughts on the film? Yeah, put them down in the comments. What did you like? What you didn't like? Or if you didn't like it at all? Or if you thought it was great? Yeah, glad to hear about it, right? All right, see you in the next episode. Take care.